In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives.
What the hell? I would have got up and walked out of there, and they wonder why they lost the election. It is official. Donald J. Trump is the president of the United States. I had such a ball being up there in D.C. for the inauguration, just being around so many like-minded people that share the same values, that love this country, that voted in one of the best leaders to lead us and get us out of the devastation from the Democratic, regressive liberals destroying the country. But as expected, the radical left is already up to their antics. Not even a day after the inauguration, they're already starting up. This time we got Marianne Edgar Budd. When Trump and Vance and the family, they attended the Washington National Cathedral, she took it upon herself to radicalize and politicize a prayer, a sermon in the church. This just stacks onto the tall mound of, you know what, of why women should not be behind the pulpit. I don't know why there's some women out there that seem to think that it is okay, but if you're a biblical and you go off the Bible and being biblical in itself, there's so many reasons of why women should not be behind the pulpit, but that's another conversation. We will attack that. But here's a woman, a gay lesbian woman, that took it upon herself to radicalize a prayer, right? Normally when you pray, it comes from the heart, as if God is leading you to do a prayer. But here, obviously, she had a written out scripted prayer, and she radicalized it and politicized it to bring up issues of her political beliefs, her ideology, and completely disregarding everybody else, of bringing up transgenderism and immigrants. And to be quite honest, it seemed just like the typical liberal of their biases, their racism, without them realizing it. She professes it in the middle of the prayer. So I want to react to it, and then I'm going to play a couple other videos. So you want to watch all the way through. This is not her first time.
We are upset about the fire as well, but that is not our primary focus. Our primary focus is the reason behind, the fundamental reasons behind the protests in our country right now. There is a deep desire for the fundamental issues at stake, brought to light by the murderous death of George Floyd and the countless others that we've witnessed in this long string of violence against Black and brown people, that needs to be addressed in a systemic, fundamental way in the from every police department in the country and the vigilante civilian actions that are taken. The gospel of Jesus and the teachings of the scripture are antithetical to the messages that he is communicating and the way he is responding to people in this moment, and that there is no spiritual mantle of authority for the actions that he had just moments before said that he would take.
This is not her first time doing this. This was absolutely a setup. They should have known better, whoever scheduled for Trump and J.D. Vance to show up for this. But this lady has been radical. So I want to react to it, and then I'll play the other clips.
In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes.
I'm sorry, y'all. Man, look at their face, man. Look at their face, man. Look at them. They can't believe this. They are better than me. I would have got up and marched my tail right up out of there. Oh, man, I couldn't have been in the same room. I would have said something. I would have been so disrespectful. I would have said something. There's no way I would have sat through this. I don't know what guy she's referring to, but this was hilarious. Look at their faces, man. Look at J.D. Vance. And look at J.D. Vance, and they wonder why they lost the election. They wonder why they lost the election.
After we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples. I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose...
Let me stop it right there. She's saying she hopes to have mercy on the immigrants. In her description of what immigrants, the illegal immigrants, are doing is racist in itself. If we're going to go down this racist road that they love to throw on us conservatives and people on the right, the Republicans, she described them as they picking in our fields, they clean our dishes, they change our trash, they serve us. Like, man, who are you talking about, ma'am? Like, is that how you view all people that are immigrants or illegal immigrants coming across? Completely disregarding the immigrants that Trump and J.D. Vance and all of us have been complaining about, the violent criminals that are coming across the border. I mean, she completely alienated that fact, completely forgot about the mention in her woke sermon or her woke prayer of some God. I don't know who she's fathoming up. I don't know where that's coming from, but this is why I tell people, man, be careful allowing people to pray over you. Don't just let anybody pray over you. She was praying and casting spells on people. There was no way in the heck I would have stayed up in that church. I would have got up out that damn seat so quick.
Children fear that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful.
I don't know what God she's talking about.
To the stranger. For we were all once strangers.
For the life of me, I cannot understand why they actually went through with the national prayer. The National Cathedral is a complete joke. Every member of their clergy and staff is completely woke. But this is not her first time doing it. I want to show you what Trump actually responded to this. And I'm going to read it real quick. He said, the so-called bishop who spoke at the national prayer service on Tuesday morning was a radical left hardline Trump hater. She brought her church into the world of politics in a very ungracious way. She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart. She failed to mention the large number of illegal migrants that came into our country and killed people. Many were deposited from jails and mental institutions. It is a giant crime wave that is taking place in the United States. Apart from her inappropriate statements, the service was a very boring and uninspiring one. She is not very good at her job. She and her church owe the public an apology. Absolutely, they do. I also want to play a quick clip of media coming up and asking him what he thought about the service.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon?
What did you think of the service?
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I didn't think it was a good service, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They can do much better.
Thank you, press. Inside. Thank you.
Trump is absolutely right. She politicized and radicalized a prayer. I don't know what God that's coming from. Now, I'm not against bringing the gospel into politics, right? I'm not against that. It even says it in the Bible. But with her, I don't know what God she's preaching about. I don't know what gospel she's spreading. It's definitely no gospel or God that I serve. That's maybe some LGBTQP gospel she's referring to. But here she is. She doubles down on the fact that she did politicize the prayer.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah. But I
I think if you read what I said, and I mean, how could it not be politicized, right? We're in a hyper political climate. One of the things I caution about is the culture of contempt in which we live, that immediately rushes to the worst possible interpretations of what people are saying and to put them in categories such as the ones you've just described. That's part of the air we breathe now. And I was trying to speak a truth that I felt needed to be said, but to do it in as respectful and kind a way as I could. And also to...
It was totally disrespectful. It was totally disrespectful. She alienated a whole nother group of people. So how was that somehow supposed to be mutual? How is pushing an ideology, politicizing and radicalizing an ideology of mutilating children, giving children the ability to mutilate themselves through actual surgical knife procedures to chemical castrations? How is that the Lord's work? How is that supposed to be something that needs to be pushed to the forefront? When we know that that's wrong, these are children. Children should be protected. How is that right? These people, man.
To bring other voices into the conversation, which voices that had not been heard in the public space for some time.
And Bishop, given that we live in such a divided time as you've reflected on, and knowing how this message might be received by Trump supporters, I wonder if your words may have had more impact if they were shared one-on-one with the president, and was there an opportunity to have that conversation?
Facts, 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 facts. But they wonder why they lost. They wonder why they lost the election. But here's the thing. Like I said earlier in the video, this is not this woman's first time. This Marianne Edgar Budd, this woke bishop, whatever the hell she thinks that she is, this gay, lesbian, devil worshiper, I don't know. This is not her first time. She was radicalized back when Trump and Pence was in, they went to the cathedral service. The last time she was radical then, she's always been radical.
President Trump denounced white supremacy in his address to the nation on Monday. He urged the country to condemn it and the racist screed allegedly posted by the El Paso suspect prior to his attack.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy. These sinister ideologies must be defeated. Hate has no place in America.
President Trump's own rhetoric has come into question in recent weeks after he went after Congressman Elijah Cummings and Baltimore, which is in his district. Mr. Trump called the city rat and rodent infested days after attacking 4 congresswomen of color, whom he said should, quote, go back to their countries. In response to that, the Washington National Cathedral released a statement saying the president's words were more than a dog whistle. Reverend Marianne Edgar Buddy is Bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington, and she joins me now. Thank you so much, Reverend, for being with us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
So you worked on that statement from the cathedral, and it also said this, quote, make no mistake about it, words matter, and Mr. Trump's words are dangerous. So with that as the backdrop, what did you think when you saw what happened in El Paso over the weekend?
Well, first of all, let me say what happened in El Paso over the weekend was a national tragedy of epic proportion, and our hearts go out to the people whose lives are lost and forever changed. Words speak for themselves and actions speak for themselves, and while none of us would draw a direct line associating the president's words to heinous acts such as this, I think it must be noted that he has consistently given encouragement and cover to the very groups and whose ideologies he condemned today. I was grateful for his words today, but the implications over time of the last 2 years, and in particular the escalation in the last few weeks, are a sobering reminder of how we can expect violent deeds to be motivated and inspired by violent words wherever they come from.
So there you have it. And here are the Democrats, the left, the liberals, the radical liberal regressives, the woke. They wonder why they lost. They wonder why Kamala Harris lost. They wonder why their party lost, and which is why we see them now all in a meltdown. I'm telling you guys, this woman owes the entire country, the entire world an apology for pushing this radical BS. This does not serve God. It's very disrespectful and it's blasphemous. She's right. She could have had a one-on-one conversation with the woman, but she didn't do that. She chose to be radical and politicize it and put it in the forefront of where everybody was watching. And she only did is made herself look stupid. She should be fired. They should demote her from that position. As I said it earlier, women should not be in the pulpit, period. Cope with that. I'm sorry if you don't like what I'm saying. But this is why they lost. And guess what? Get ready for the next 4 years because it's only going to ramp up. The left, this is what they do. I'm already seeing it with the reporters. We're seeing it. We're going to see it with them radicalizing, going and protesting at the Capitol. I mean, you know, y'all know how the left is, man. But I want to know what your thoughts are on this woke bishop. Do you think that she could have had a private one-on-one conversation? Do you think that it was necessary for her to do this? Do you think that women should be behind the pulpit and this is just one of many other reasons why they shouldn't? With that being said, if it's your first time on the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified every time I put out some more mean tweet commentary. I only do mean tweet commentary. If you want to know what my page is about, all I do is highlight liberalism, hypocrisies, wokeism. I'm anti-woke. That's what my channel is. So with that being said, it's your boy, Craig Long, 45. You can't make this shit up. I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, oi. You're old.